Hello, my name is Leo Darcy and I'm one of the developers of the Power On Platform's Always On VPN Dynamic Profile Creation tool, or DPC for short. In this video, I'll be taking you through some of the advanced settings not configured in the other videos in this series. To start, I have a 64-bit Windows 10 enterprise device running 1909, however any version later than 1803 should work. I've already installed the DPC agent and set up both the user and device tunnel following the steps described in the previous videos in this series. So the other advanced settings in here are very optional depending on the requirements of the environment. The first optional parameter that we've got is to clear the disabled profile list. So on the device, a user can come in here and untick the connect automatically button. So if we disconnect that, they can then untick the connect automatically. And if the user does that successfully, that's written into the registry and is never automatically cleared. So what we can do here is enable this, and what that does is on every DPC refresh, which by default is every 60 minutes, it will go through and it will clear out that list so that the user can't will always automatically be connected into AOVPN as required. We've also got this policy refresh interval, which defaults to 60 minutes as previously mentioned. However, you can configure it down to at a minimum 1 minute, although I wouldn't recommend going that low. We've also got this option to remove existing profiles. So as you can see on the device, we actually now have 4 profiles configured. The 2 DPC ones that have been configured as part of this tutorial series, and also these 2 original connections that were previously set up through other means. This enables us to actually clear out any other profiles and leave just the ones configured via DPC. In the device tunnel settings, we've got the options for proxy configuration, which can be used if you are using a proxy in your environment. We can exclude specific routes, although with a device tunnel that tends to be rarer, as you would generally just specify the exact routes that you would want in the include rather than needing explicit excludes. We've also got the debug path and the profile save path. So the profile save path exports the configuration that is generated by DPC to a specified location. You can use system variables such as the temp location. So this DPC. So you can configure it so that it will always export out the currently generated profile. And this can be useful when comparing against a known profile that you want to mirror, or if certain configuration isn't working the way that you expect it to, or for troubleshooting and support cases. There is also, however, this debug path. The reason why this is different is that the debug path actually pulls the configuration out of the Windows operating system after it has been configured by the DPC agent. So when the DPC agent submits the profile to the Windows operating system, that can be Windows either accepts or rejects the configuration, but it can also, in certain limited circumstances, accept the configuration but make changes to that configuration or ignore parts of it without any kind of warning or error message. So the debug path can be used to extract that configuration back out and allows for the comparison between what was asked for with what actually is, and can be very useful in certain troubleshooting scenarios. We've also got the ability to configure domain name information if your profile requires it. In the advanced settings, we've got the custom cryptography, which we talk about in the device and user tunnel configuration videos. And there's also the override XML. So this allows DPC to manage or to inject into the device any arbitrary XML required. So this can be useful in specific scenarios where DPC doesn't quite provide the exact configuration options needed, or in cases where there may be bugs in the DPC agent that are blocking certain configuration, and this allows the administrator to completely override the XML generation element of DPC and just take the arbitrary XML provided here and inject that onto the computers. So that would be an example of that would be to take this entire profile, which we know is a good and correct profile, and we can paste it into there. Under the user settings, we've got the same debug and profile save path configurations, as well as the domain name information and proxy configuration. We've also got the option to use a force tunnel with the user configuration. The default is, of course, split tunnel. If you use this configuration, things like the allowed route list is not supported. We've also got this option to enable or to exclude the Office 365 routes from the VPN. This actually uses the Microsoft API to dynamically request the latest Office 365 routes from Microsoft, and generates that as an exclude list, or appends that to any other exclude list that you provide, to make sure that Office 365 traffic is always going to the Microsoft endpoints directly, even in the event of a forced tunnel. If you do enable this option, the device object must be allowed to pass through any kind of proxies or configurations that you've got, and that needs to go to endpoints.office.com. There's also an additional advanced user setting of limiting the user certificate EKU, and this is used in certain scenarios to ensure that the correct certificate is being picked up on the device to be used for EAP configuration. So in this video, we've gone through some of the more advanced settings in DPC and how they can ensure the smooth configuration and minimize maintenance for administrators. If you need any further assistance, check out support.poweronplatforms.com for additional help, guides, or speak to your Power on Platforms account manager about our training and consultancy services. Thank you.